Look at your tomato plant right now. Just really look at it. Are those leaves curling inward like little fists? Are the flowers turning yellow and just dropping off before they even make a fruit? Does the whole plant look tired and sad, even though you literally watered it yesterday? If you nodded yes, take a breath. You're not alone, and you're definitely not a bad gardener. Mid-July is brutal. It's a murder scene for tomatoes. Heat is hitting 90 plus, diseases are waking up in the soil, and I'm telling you, one wrong watering habit can wipe out 3 months of work overnight. So today, I want to walk you through the 5 mistakes I see killing tomatoes right in the middle of July. And number 3 is the sneaky one. It looks like you're helping, but you're actually cooking the roots and inviting blight over for dinner. Stick with me. I'll show you how to fix each one today with stuff you already have at home. If you're new here, you're on Grow Simple, where we keep gardening stupid simple. No jargon, no expensive products, just real stuff that saves you money and actually grows food. So if you want a garden that feeds you without the stress long term, subscribe and stick around. Let's save that harvest. Mistake number 1, watering every day because it's hot. I know, it's July. It's 95 degrees out there. You feel guilty if you don't water, but you have to stop. You're not helping. You're drowning them and boiling them at the same time. When you splash a little water every morning, the roots never have a reason to go deep. They stay in that top 2 inches of soil, and that top 2 inches hits 110, 120 degrees by noon. You're literally steaming your own roots. You're not watering a plant. You're making root soup. I did this for 2 summers straight and wondered why my best plants kept collapsing by late July. When you keep that top layer wet, you also invite fungus gnats and that sour, swampy smell right at the base. Think about how you would feel breathing hot steam all day. That's what those shallow roots are doing. Once I switched to deep watering twice a week, my plants actually stood up taller even on the hottest afternoons. And you can tell. The lower leaves turn yellow even though the soil is wet. The stems get soft and floppy. You get that black leathery rot on the bottom of the fruit. That's blossom end rot from all that inconsistent, shallow watering. So let's do it the simple way, deep and lazy. Stick your finger 3 inches into the soil. If it's dry down there, water. If it's still damp, just walk away. And when you do water, go slow at the base, like a full 60 to 90 seconds per plant. You want it 8 to 10 inches deep. Then throw 3 inches of straw mulch on top and don't come back for 2 or 3 days. When's the last time you actually checked the soil with your finger and not just your eyes? Try it today. Deep roots don't care about a heat wave. Shallow roots die in one hot afternoon.
Mistake number 2, soaking the leaves at night. You come home from work around 7. It's still hot. You feel bad for them, so you spray the whole plant down to cool it off. It feels kind, right? It feels refreshing, but it's not kind at all. You're actually building a disease factory. I get it. After a long day at work, you want to cool them off the way you'd cool yourself off. I used to drag the hose out at 8 p.m. too because the garden was my way to unwind. But tomatoes aren't people. They don't get relief from a leaf shower. They just stay damp and stressed all night. The morning after that nighttime spray, if you look close, you can almost see those leaves looking heavier, like they never got to sleep. Every blight spore, every bit of Septoria and early blight needs one thing to get started: 8 hours of wet leaves in the dark. And that's exactly what you give it when you soak the leaves at night. You tuck that fungus in with a nice wet blanket. By morning, it's already germinated. In 3 days, you see those brown spots with yellow halos on the lower leaves. In 7 days, half the plant is naked. All the leaves dropped and your fruit is just hanging there getting sunburned. Wet leaves at night is an invitation, and blight always RSVPs. Late blight is no joke. It's the same thing that caused the Irish potato famine. It can turn a green, loaded plant into a brown, rotting skeleton in 48 hours. And it usually starts from this one habit: overhead watering in the evening. That's why your plants look amazing in June and then collapse in mid-July. So here's the fix, and it's free. Only water in the morning between 6 and 10. Only at the base, slow and deep, never hit the leaves. And if you already have those spotted lower leaves, prune them off right now. Bag them, trash them, don't compost them, ever. Ask yourself, are you watering roots or just washing leaves? Mistake number 3, dumping high nitrogen fertilizer in July. This is the silent killer, the one that wipes you out overnight while making you think you did everything right. It's mid-July, your plant is tall, dark green, Beautiful. Looks perfect for Instagram. But there's no fruit, just leaves, leaves, and more leaves. So you think, oh, it must be hungry, and you throw a bunch of high nitrogen fertilizer at it, or fresh chicken manure, or that blue powder, really heavy. What you just told that plant is stop making babies, just grow more hair. I remember my first year, I had this giant green bush that looked amazing and gave me literally 4 tomatoes. My neighbor kept saying feed it more, so I kept feeding it more, and I was just making the problem worse. It's hard not to take it personal when a plant looks healthy but gives you nothing. It feels like you failed it. But that dark green, soft growth is like a neon sign to pests. It tells every bug in the neighborhood, dinner is here. Too much nitrogen in July pushes all leaves, no fruit. The plant actually aborts its flowers. They just drop. Fruit stays tiny or never sets at all, and all that soft, dark, sappy new growth you forced, that's candy for aphids and whiteflies. And whiteflies bring yellow leaf curl virus, and once you get that, the leaves curl hard upward. Yellow edges, stunted top, zero fruit. That plant is done. You have to pull it. In July, your tomato doesn't need a bodybuilder, it needs a midwife, so put the fertilizer bag down. In mid-July, your tomatoes aren't hungry, they're exhausted. They don't need nitrogen to grow taller, they need potassium and phosphorus to set and ripen what they already have. If you really want to feed, go super light, like a 5-10-10 tomato feed or a week compost tea once every 10 to 14 days. That's it. Are you feeding for leaves or are you actually feeding for fruit? Because your plant is begging for cool roots and deep water right now, not more food.
Mistake number 4, panicking about leaf curl and flower drop. I get a ton of messages about this one. Your leaves are rolling inward like fists, flowers are turning yellow and falling off before they set. And your first instinct is to panic. Spray something, water more, prune everything hard to let air in. Just stop for a second and breathe. My inbox fills up with this exact photo every single July, and every time I have to tell people to do less, not more. I know that curl looks scary, like the plant is begging for help, so your instinct is to rush in and fix it. But I have left curled plants completely alone, except for mulching and water, and they bounced back and gave me fruit till October. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do in a heat wave is just step back and let the plant protect itself. Your plant isn't dying, it's defending itself. It's actually being really smart. When it hits 90 degrees and above, tomatoes do 2 things on purpose. First, they curl their leaves inward to lose less water. That's called physiological leaf roll. It's usually the lower, older leaves first. They stay green, no spots, and the plant keeps growing. Second, they drop flowers because pollen goes sterile above 90. The plant is literally saying, it's too hot to have kids right now. Let's wait for cooler nights. That's not disease, that's intelligence. It's survival. Leaf curl and flower drop in mid-July is not death, it's defense. Where people mess up is what they do next. They see that curl and they flood the plant, which drowns already hot roots. Or they prune everything hard in a heat wave, and now all that green fruit that was shaded is suddenly exposed and gets sun-scald, those white papery blisters that rot. Instead, fix the environment, not the symptom. Mulch 3 to 4 inches with straw today. That alone cools the roots by 20 degrees. If you have brutal afternoon sun, give it 30% shade cloth from 2 to 6 p.m. Water deep in the morning only, and stop pruning until this heat breaks. Those curled leaves are actually little umbrellas protecting your fruit. Mistake number 5, leaving soil bare and planting in the same spot. Look down, right under your plant, what do you see? If you see bare, cracked, light brown soil baking in the sun, that's mistake number 5, and it's killing your harvest 3 ways at once without you even realizing it. I used to think bare, clean soil looked tidy, like a good gardener should have no weeds and no mess. Then I put a thermometer on that bare soil at 2 p.m. and it read 131 degrees. I literally couldn't hold my hand on it. No wonder my plants were wilting even though I watered that morning. Their feet were burning. And I know rotating beds sounds hard when you only have a small space, so just clean up heavily and mulch like your harvest depends on it, because it does. 1. Bare soil in July hits 130 degrees on the surface. Tomato roots start dying when the root zone hits 95, so you're literally baking them alive from the top down. 2. Every time you water or it rains, that bare soil splashes up onto the lower leaves, and that's how early blight and septoria get on your plant in the first place. 3, bare soil loses all its water in like 6 hours, so you have to water again tomorrow and you get stuck in this stressful cycle.
And the other half of this, did you plant tomatoes in the exact same spot as last year because it was easy? Fungal spores live in that soil all winter long. You just planted this year's babies in last year's graveyard. That's why blight keeps coming back every July in the same bed. Bare soil in July isn't soil, it's a frying pan. The fix costs $0. Mulch today, not tomorrow. Straw, dried leaves, shredded cardboard with grass clippings on top, 3 to 4 inches thick. That drops soil temp by 20 degrees, stops that splash completely, holds moisture for 2 days longer, feeds your worms, kills weeds. If you can't rotate beds, you have to be clean. Pick up every fallen leaf and rotten fruit every day. Never ever compost diseased tomato vines. Top dress with a little fresh compost and then mulch heavy. There you have it. 5 mistakes that are quietly killing tomatoes right in the middle of July. And now you know how to fix every single one with stuff you already have at home. So tell me, which one was doing the most damage in your garden? Be honest, I read every single comment. I know how disheartening it feels to do everything right and still watch a plant you raised from seeds struggle in this heat. I've been there too. The good news is tomatoes are tougher than we think. They bounce back really fast when you give them cool roots and a little breathing room. You don't need a perfect garden. You just need one that keeps going. And trust me, once you mulch and water right, you'll see the difference in just a few days. If this saved your tomatoes, hit that like button and subscribe to Grow Simple so you don't miss next week when I show you how to trigger that second wave of fruit in August that most people miss completely. Now, go mulch something. Seriously, right now.